family. You can let the music wash over you, or you can join me in song. We'll start out with a small chant just to kind of warm the room up, warm our bodies up in harmony and a melody. It's called You Are the Face of God. And indeed you are, right where you are. Happy New Year. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Deep breath. Another cleansing breath. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. There was a time in my life when I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Amen. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, just struggling to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you've got to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide, yes. I'm only here for God. You know the words. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Join me now. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit why, yes. I'm only here for God. We got some lyrics up there, don't we now? No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God, yeah. I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life, amen. And my heart is open wide, yes. I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the spirit. And I'm only here for God. Yes, it is true. It is so true. Good job, everybody. Good morning, Lynette.
Good morning, Peter.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Morning. Happy New Year, Happy New Day, Happy New You, Happy New Me. Welcome. My name is Ife Senachi. You may call me Nana. And my pronouns are she, her. And I proudly serve as a practitioner here at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We are a center that educates and engages the seeker on their spiritual path. As a member of the global movement, Centers for Spiritual Living, our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and our vision is a world that works for everyone. No matter where you are on your spiritual journey, SLCA is where you belong. For more information about today's service and ways to connect during the week, please take a moment to scan the QR code found either on the back of your seat in front of you or the one displayed on our monitor. We are grateful for your presence this morning.
Thank you so much, Nana. I invite you to join with me and sing our opening song. It's called You Are Welcome Here. And if you could stand, please do so. If not, just remain seated and just sing along if it feels comfortable to do so. Welcome at home. There is a space in my heart where I can find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. When we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Here we go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. See with new eyes, allow an unfold embrace. Let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom and love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we can ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. I love that. Come on, open up. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when welcome here. You are welcome here. Yeah, look around the room and say, you are welcome. You are welcome here. You are welcome at home as well.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to SLCA. Happy New Year again to all of you. It's a good day to be in community together. I am David Alexander. I'm the spiritual director here. Welcome to everybody online. My pronouns are he and his, and I'm delighted to be with you today as we kick off this series. We started last week with our ritual burning bowl and white stone ceremony, and today we're really diving into the curriculum of our series, Begin Again. The cover of the Science of Mind magazine says Root and Reboot. And back in the old days, we used to just call it January Topics or Back to Basics. But we're going to cover in the next 4 weeks the first 4 chapters of Science of Mind. So if you are new here, it's a great time to be here because we're going to get just down and dirty with the basics of the teaching. If you've been here for a long time, a couple decades maybe, some of you, this will be a good refresher and a good reminder because we'll approach it in a new way. Our affirmation today is this. Today I commit myself to my divine destiny as a creative being. I know that every path is open before me as I commune with the first cause unto all life. I'll say it again and ask you to repeat it after me, and then we'll do it all together. Today, I commit myself to my divine destiny.
Today, I commit myself to my divine destiny.
As a creative being. I know that every path is open before me. As I commune with the first cause unto all life. Let's say it again together. Take a deep breath. Today, I commit myself to my divine destiny as a creative being. I know that every path is open before me as I commune with the first cause unto all life. And so it is. All right. Give yourselves a hand for being here today. Let's have a great morning together.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Amen.
And now it's time for our treatment. And I would like to share with you a poem that randomly showed up across social media to me, and some of you may have seen it, but I think it is quite apropos for today and who we are as a community. And it's called New Day's Lyric by Amanda Gorman. May this be the day we come together. Mourning, we come to mend. Withered, we come to weather. Torn, we come to tend. Battered, we come to better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been readied by it. We steadily vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. This hope is our door, our portal. Even if we never get back to normal, someday we can venture beyond it. To leave the known behind, to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach toward what is next. What was cursed, we will cure. What was plagued, we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forswore, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we're now awake. Those moments we missed are now the moments we make. The moments we meet and our hearts, once altogether beaten, now altogether beat. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit in a new day's lyric. In our hearts we hear it. For all lang syne, my dear, for all lang syne. Be bold, sang time this year. Be bold, sang time. But when we honor yesterday, tomorrow you will find, know what you fought need not be forgot nor for one. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day has just begun. For whatever we come together, we will forever overcome. Please join me in this moment, and we will start with a breath to just ground us. This breath is important. In our narrative, we are told that God created man and breathed into the creation, and it became a living being. And as that living being, we are one with the Creator. We are the breath. The Creator is who breathes us. And knowing that there's only one source, one light, one love, one God, one mind. The all in all, behind all, in front of all, in all, as all. And I am one with that. And as I breathe each moment, I know that I am renewed. I know that I am whole. I know that everything is in divine order. I know that I am transformed. The renewal of my mind is what transforms me. And I stand open to that transformation, to that knowing, to that renewal, to the breath. I am renewed every moment, every day. I don't have to wait until the new year. It's a new moment. It's a new day. And as such, I am just grateful. I am grateful for the newness, for the transformation. I am grateful for the opportunities that come for me to show up and to embody the goodness. I was made good and very good, and I am good. Even in not knowing, I know that behind me, in me, through me, as me, is the all-knowing, the all in everything. And I am so grateful. I am so thankful for every opportunity that shows up for me to show up as the right answer, the right solution, what is needed. And I allow this to be the case. And I give thanks to places like the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, where I belong, where I have home, where I have community, where I have my tribe, where I have like-minded people. And we feed and we nurture each other, because living this life and walking this path is our treatment. I am surrounded by practitioners. That's the practice, the life that we're living. And we're all practitioners here. Whether you're licensed by the divine. The experiences that we have shape us. The experiences that we have, we can shape them. And we can live in a world where things come to us to have us transcend and to rise and awaken to a higher consciousness. Nothing is ever done to us. No one is against us. All of life is for us. The list of giving thanks is endless. Even the breath is a gift. That I am breathing is a gift. And so I always have something to be thankful for. And I remember that because life itself will bring many challenges, many opportunities for growth and for stretching and to give birth. Give birth to the new you. Give birth to the new me. It is forever, forever and ever unfolding. Thank you for every ministry, for the board, for every member sitting in the seat here, for every member that is listening online, for all who are new, for all who are seasoned. And knowing this, I release these words into the law, knowing that they do not return void. They've already been manifest. And I stand here with open arms, an open heart, and an open mind, knowing that my good is here, and I draw it forth. And we affirm that this good is here for each one of us together as we say, and so it is.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. Amen. Through me.
Greetings, Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. This is Karen Ratz. I proudly serve as president to your Board of Trustees, and I'm so grateful for my fellow board members, Treasurer Carrie Fowler, Michael Preston, Rita Farmer, David Johnson, our spiritual director, Reverend David Alexander, our executive director, Shannon Pruitt, our musical director, Penelope Williams, and the amazing Reverend Jean Bell. Thank you to all our board and staff, our practitioners, our community members, our pledgers. Thank you all, and Happy New Year 2023. I'm coming to you today to talk about engagement, talk about what you'd like to see for the future of Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. As you well know, this is a very vibrant place that hasn't just set an intention, but actually walks the walk of you belong in a world that works for everyone. That is what is important to us. And so we want to grow engagement this year. We want to grow income this year. As you know, we have a small deficit between income and expenses that we want to continue to increase our income, because I think we've got our expenses minimized and we prioritize our expenses to our amazing staff. But we also do have some facilities expense. And as you know, we have been able to negotiate that with our landlord. But in 2023, we are going to keep looking for options around space and where we want to meet. So we started with community engagement. A couple months ago, we sent out a survey. Many of you answered it. And here's what we learned, that 66% of our survey respondents said that a place in Atlanta is important to you, but it doesn't have to be our current space. And so we're going to look. We're going to look at options. It's very flexible and it's going to be community led. That's the thing, right? SLCA has had 3 locations in its 43-year history. If there's a change to be made, it's going to be community-led, and there's going to be time to discuss and get input. But all the options are on the table. We could get a smaller footprint at our current location, but we could try some other places as well. So one of the things about being engaged in community is there's lots of options, and we want to hear from you about what those options could be and where you'd like to go and where you'd like to meet. So we're going to try something. On January 22nd, you are invited to the UUCA, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. It has a new building on Claremont Road. We would love to do a service there and have you come, and that's scheduled for January 22nd in the afternoon. We're going to try an afternoon service at 3 o'clock. There won't be anything in the morning at our current space at SLCA. It'll be in the afternoon at UUCA, 3 o'clock, the full-on Reverend David message, Penelope music, the streaming, the whole nine. And then we're going to have a family dinner afterwards. So join us and see how it feels over there. So we've got lots of options. And as I say, this will be about engagement and be community-led. So for 2023, SLCA, as you know, not every organization made it through the pandemic. We did. But we want to keep growing. We want to keep impacting the community. We want to keep transforming lives, our own, as well as those in our community, and make a difference with what we know about this teaching, about this philosophy, about how it can impact personal transformation and community transformation. So join us. Join us for the 22nd. See how that space feels. Join us for these conversations about where we want to meet, whether we want to keep our current space. Join us for what you'd like to see SLCA do in the community. Join us and engage. If you have ideas for fundraisers, let's get on it. If you have ideas for who to invite to our community that we should be engaging with, join us, speak up, let us hear from you. All right? We love you dearly. I am so grateful for this entire community. Thank you for who you are and everything you do for our beloved SLCA. Let's make it even better in 2023.
Good morning, McAfee.
Good morning.
Please welcome for the very first time here at the Spiritual Living Center, McAfee Chandler.
Thank you.
I recognize that last name.
Yeah.
She's home from college, yep. Welcome home, winter break. Yeah, so it's a little bit warmer here than Iowa.
Oh, yeah, much warmer. No blizzards, which I appreciate.
Excellent. So this is McAfee, and she is the daughter of Cheryl Chandler, yeah. Our very own. So they'll be singing a duet later this morning, so without further ado.
No one here to guide you. Now you're on your own. Only me beside you. Still you're not alone. No one is alone. Truly, no one is alone. Sometimes people leave you halfway through the wood. Others may deceive you. You decide what's good. You decide alone. But no one is alone. People make mistakes. Fathers, mothers, people make mistakes. Holding to their own. Many makes one other's terrible mistakes. But witches can be right. Giants can be good. You decide what's right. You decide what's good. Just remember, someone is on your side. Someone else is not. While you're seeing your side, maybe you forgot they are not alone. No one is alone. Hard to see the light now. Just don't let it go. Things will come out right now. We can make it so. Someone is on your side. No one is alone.
So beautiful. McAfee Chandler.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, McAfee. Thank you, thank you. Let's give her a hand again. A great way to start today. Take a breath. As we begin again today, I want to remind us, re-emphasize Karen's message from our board about what's happening. You'll hear more in the announcements about that opportunity on the 22nd. I want to point out to you that we have our vision board in the back of the room here. You can write your word for the year for the community. If you came to the White Stone ceremony, the word for yourself for the year goes on your white stone or in your journal or wherever you want to keep that for yourself. But we're each holding a word or an idea for the community, and we're sharing that on the community board, and we're going to put that together in what's called a word cloud so we can see them all together. And so we invite you, if you haven't had a chance to do that yet, to do that. Invite you to know that the intention setting workbooks are out in the lobby. We also have a workshop coming up that'll guide you through intentions for the year. And I also put on our education site, newthoughtaeducation.com, our prosperity series, which we did back in October. So it's the 4 sermon series of that, and then I put together like this, a workbook that's digital, of course. It has the sermon notes, places to reflect and practice what was spoken about in those 4 weeks, and put that up there as a series that you can register for free. It's a completely free course. It's a great thing to share with friends. You want to teach them what this center is about and maybe be in partnership together about establishing your year in a consciousness of prosperity. Check that out on newthoughtaeducation.com. We got so much going on here, but I didn't come here to do the announcements. I'm just excited about what's happening, yes? So 2 of you are. That's good. Come on. There you go. We're anchoring ourselves in the new year in this renewal of principle, renewal of understanding of the basic ideas of the science of mind, the philosophy that we study here at SLCA. And I'm anchoring it this year in this quote from James Baldwin. A year or 2 ago, we did a great course based on the book by Eddie Glaude Jr. Called Begin Again. It's about the life and the works of James Baldwin. Fabulous course that we did. I'm sure we'll do it again in the future. And in that, the title of that book comes from this quote from James Baldwin. Not everything is lost. Responsibility cannot be lost. It can only be abdicated. If one refuses abdication, one begins again. And to me, that's really like at the heart of what the science of mind is about. The invitation in New Thought or the science of mind philosophy is about remembering your conscious power, remembering that you have access to an infinite principle, a law of mind, and that every time you choose that over the narrative that is happening in the collective world of scarcity and lack and limitation and not enough and all of the stuff that the media is trying to get you to be afraid of, or that is circulating in your own subconscious mind, that is planted there from your childhood or just being repeated on the airwaves or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter where it's coming from. It doesn't matter, we're not looking for blame or trying to separate ourselves and think of ourselves better than. It's everywhere. There is a trance of scarcity and not enoughness that is going around, has been going around for a long time in human history. And every time we choose to turn from that and remember our power, remember the principle, remember the access that we have in our consciousness and how to use it, we begin again. We refuse the abdication. We refuse to abdicate our lives to a life of lack and limitation, and we choose the power that we have. In the original extension course that Ernest Holmes wrote as the philosophy was building through the early 1920s and 30s, he began Science of Mind magazine in 1926, 27, which today we still have as the Science of Mind magazine, and one of the longest running religious publications in the country. And as the movement was building and people were lining around buildings to hear him speak and lecture, and church practitioners were being trained around the country, and then pretty soon, by the 1940s, churches started being established and movement was growing, and he developed this course called the Extension Course. And many of you who've been around a long time have old copies of it. I've got some copies in binders, and it's been reprinted a few different times. You can find it on Science of Mind Library and Archives website, the new printings of it. And in the beginning of that, Ernest Holmes says this. He says, "You are about to start the most interesting quest the human mind has ever made. The discovery of the life principle, the way it works, and your relationship to it. You are about to make the greatest discovery of your life, which is how to use this creative power of your thought for a definite purpose, which will benefit you, your family, and your friends." Now, today, he wrote that back in the 1920s. Today, we talk a lot about our vision, which is the vision of a world that works for everyone. We talk a lot about the collective. We talk a lot about what I have for 15 years now called the radical implication of our teaching. So we have principles, we have ideas like oneness and abundance and universal love and all of these ideas that we hold dear. We call them our principles, our foundation. And what's the radical implication of that? What does that mean for you and for others and for those we don't identify with or don't agree with? What does that mean in the collective if there really is only one of us here? That's what I call the radical implication. That radical implication has led to things like the global vision and a world that works for everyone. And so that's led us into this conscious engagement of the social implication of our teachings, or and then taking stands for social issues and social causes. But you'll notice that the invitation, no matter how much we focus on that, the application point is always right where we are, right? The application and implementation point is always the individual self. So we can focus on the world, and we can focus on changing conditions and all of those things, and I'm, as you know, a big advocate of doing so. But the application point is always at the individual self. The reason for that is, I believe, kind of this spiritual truth that contemporary of Ernest Holmes from the Christian world, a guy by the name of Paul Tillich, who was a Lutheran theologian. I don't have a slide for this one. I've done this one in the past. But he said this. He said, "Revelation is always personal, never universal." Revelation is always personal, never universal. And later in that same body of work of sermons that he wrote and delivered, he said, "Revelation is God's attempt to reach humanity. Religion is humanity's attempt to reach God." Right? So what that means is, if revelation is always personal, never universal, it means that this God intelligence, this life force, whatever we want to call it. We're going to get into that today. If Paul Tillich's right, then revelation is this intelligence way of reaching you. You have an insight, you have a revelation, you have an aha, you have an awakening. You have a moment in which you see things beyond what your current reality has revealed themselves to you. Am I making sense? Anybody had a revelation before? Right? It's that aha moment. It's that, oh, I get it now. I see that there's something bigger than my drama. I see there's something bigger than my worries or fears. I see that there's, you look into a baby's eyes, or you see a sunset, or something happens, and you go, oh. You pop through the clouds, and you kind of see that there's more there, right? That's revelation. And we can see why that has to be personal. You ever have a personal revelation and then try to share it with somebody else? Right? You go to them, hey, guess what? And I saw this thing, and I looked in the eyes, and then my heart chakra exploded, and then, oh my God. And they're just looking at you like, uh-huh. Right? I mean, they could get excited, if they're a personal friend or something, they could get excited for you and be happy for you, but they can't really have. You ever been disappointed when you've tried to tell somebody your revelation, and they just don't get, like they're excited, they're happy, but they clearly they do not get it the way you get it, right? And you're like, come on. That's because revelation is always personal. They got to have their own revelation. But religion has come along, right? Man has created religion as a way to reach God, to say, here's one person's revelation, and now let's build some ritual around it. Let's build some practice around it. Let's build some community around it. And so we have religion that's around Jesus' revelation, or Moses' revelation, or Muhammad's revelation, or Buddha's revelation. Those are all individual revelations. All the saints and mystics have an individual experience of revelation. What gets created around them is religion. Right? It's an attempt to touch that revelation through practice and prayer and ritual and community and all those things. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that it doesn't quite touch the personal revelation. So to me, I like to put those two things together and understand that religion really is only helpful or useful if it's guiding you to your own personal revelation. If all you're doing is remembering and reenacting and paying homage to somebody else's revelation, then it's just ritual. It's just rote. It's just prayer for the sake of the ritual, not really guiding you to something deeper. And I think at the mystic level, all religions do, if taken sincerely, lead one to their own individual revelation. So I'm not saying any one religion's better than the other, but they all have to be taken at that personal level, right? They all have to be engaged in at a serious level. So, therefore, this invitation to begin again is eternally with us. Yeah, you can study somebody else's revelation. You can be in practice and beholden to those principles and ideas that brought that forward. But really, Spirit is always inviting you to your revelation, to your insight, to your awakening. Ernest Holmes, as this movement was building, and he was training practitioners, and then churches came along, and so on and so forth, he wasn't so much interested in a church organization for the sake of it, but he realized it was a good form in which the teaching could be perpetuated and continue to be carried forward to new students to learn what he and the New Thought authors and scholars that had come before him had begun to articulate and to collectively have a consciousness around. But he said a lot of things about sort of the limitations of church and kind of constantly reminded people why we were gathering in these spaces. He said this, he said, I would have this be a church of principle. A church of principle. Our church is not a building, even though it's a nice one. Our church is not an eloquent preacher, although that is good too. For our future is a matter of one person who has come to know what God is. And the quote goes on to say, and then share it with someone else, right? To share it with others. So I'd rather this be a church of principle, not a building, as we said in the opening invitation from our board president, right? This is a beautiful space. I love this space. I love what we've done with it. I love what, some subtle changes we've made since COVID and the environment that when we walk in, doesn't look like much when you turn at the what is it, the extended stay, right? Doesn't look like much. You're going, where am I going? What is this? Doesn't look like much when you get out of your car in the parking lot, but you come in and something happens, right? But we did that. Building's not doing that. We did that. So a building is good, but it's not the building. Eloquent preacher. It's all right. That's all right. But it's not about that either, right? It's about a place where we practice and we have community and we have engagement. Our future is a matter of one who has come to know what God is and then share it with others. To know what God is, that's getting back to the basics. So what is this thing? This is why Ernest Holmes says you're about to take on a quest that humanity has longed for since the beginning of time, right? Because what is this God thing? What are we talking about when we say God? Is there the God, or is it a God among many? Is it God the Father? Is it God the Son? Is it God the Goddess or the Holy Ghost? Is it God the still small presence within us? Is it God the judge or the ruler on the throne? What is it that we know God to be? And this is something that humanity has been wrestling with for a long time. Millennia before the Common Era in Mesopotamia, they discovered finally many years ago in a cave this drawing of what they now call the Lord of the Beast, and it was half animal, half man, and the other the drawings around it they were clearly worshiping it, and it was the first time that they believed that the nomadic activity of humanity had settled in a place, and it seems to have settled for the reason to worship, to come together and pay homage to this thing. What's interesting about the place where they located it was it wasn't like the town center. It wasn't the town square. There's no village, there's no housing, there's no dwelling, there's no activity. It was like they came from different places in order to do this and then to go back. They didn't build a village there. They didn't start farming there. But and for thousands of years, they seemed to come to this place and try to wrestle with this idea. What is this power in the universe? What is this power that we witness in animals? What is this power that we sense in ourselves? And what does that relationship look like? And that conversation has continued to happen over and over again, from hunter to gatherer to farmer, from God being feminine and the Mother Earth and the cycles of life and the heaven and the rains and then our tribal senses and leaders in tribal communities and gathering in groups and settling, consolidating sometimes into one God and then diversifying into many gods and many expressions. Every time we see the projection of our own human consciousness onto this mystery, this thing that we're trying to identify. So the correct term for it is anthropomorphize it, right? Which is to put human characteristics onto it, right? Say, well, God is angry. Well, how do we know that? Well, because we're angry. God is loving. Well, how would we know that? Well, we're loving. God is judging. How would we know that? We're judging, right? So on and so forth. And so it has gone on and on and on. And this is where the genius of the science of mind comes along. Because what really the invitation is to get to know God is to get to know ourselves. It's to get to know that power and that presence that is inside of ourselves. Why we think we know so much about God when we're thinking. We are thinking and talking about our relationship to ourself. And we're trying to understand that relationship. Who am I? What are these emotions and feelings? What is this power that I have access to? What is this thing that I feel? What is this vision that pulls me? And so really, God, called by whatever term you want to call it, spirit, love, intelligence, the divine mystery, mother, father, whatever it is, but God, for lack of a better term in this moment, God is our relationship to the thing itself. I want you to catch that. You're going to have to reach up real high to catch that one. God is not the thing itself. The thing itself is consciousness. The thing itself is intelligence. The thing itself is a mystery. The thing itself is the pulse of creation. God is just a label. But God is our relationship to that thing. And so God can only be to us what God can be through us. God can only be for us what God can be through and as us. Because God is always nothing more and nothing less than our relationship to the thing itself. In other words, every name that we have for God, every form that we can put it in, language itself is a form of limitation, right? Language has boundaries. And so no matter how eloquent we get with our language about God, the very sake of trying to define it limits it. Which is why in the Hebrew and Jewish tradition they don't spell it out. They're saying we can't put word, we can point to it, but we can never capture it. So our language and our relationship and our conscious understanding is only the finger pointing to something that is always greater than the thing we're pointing to. Are you with me? And so all of these points that point to something bigger, what we know then is that God is that which understands and controls, or that which moves through which that which we don't understand. It's the mystery of the universe, the intelligence that is within us. Ernest Holmes says in the extension course and in Living the Science of Mind, the science of mind as a philosophy is comparatively new, but the mental experience of the invisible universe is as old as the history of humankind. It is new in that it is for the first time in history we have put together all the findings which contribute to the establishment of humanity's relationship with this universal force, and to the end that we may be able to apply our spiritual understanding to everyday problems of human life. But we're not the first to do that. We're not the first to make the attempt. We're simply using a new language, a language that's free of sometimes free of gender of form, sometimes not, free of superstition and ritual, sometimes not, but an attempt to understand. And so that's why Ernest Holmes, the first chapter in the Science of Mind text, which many years later as the movement built, became kind of our primary teaching text. So that's why we say January topics. The first chapter is the thing itself. The thing itself. Remember, God is our relationship to the thing itself. So it's not God, it's the thing itself, which stands outside of any form or language or definition that we can give to it. The conscious intelligence of the universe. In the beginning. In the beginning is not about a time in which at some point where there was nothing and then something began. Rather, in the beginning is every time something begins. Every time you have a new thought. Every time you wake up in the morning, every time you approach something with new energy and the openness to a possibility. Every spring is a new beginning. Every sunrise, every sunset. In the beginning is that invitation to begin again. And so what we say in the Science of Mind is that there is this infinite intelligence. It is in, through, and as all things, and that all creation is a result of this thing moving upon itself. So this thing, the thing itself, is intelligent. It seeks to know itself, and therefore it creates. And it creates according to law. Just as there are science, and so the early authors of the Science of Mind and New Thought wanted to know that, well, if there are things like the law of gravity and other sort of scientific laws, then maybe there are such applications that we can understand about religion, about spirituality, about the spiritual intelligence of the universe. And so that's the way they began to language and speak to it. And as they did, they said, okay, so let's suppose that there's this creative intelligence in the universe, that the universe itself is intelligent, and that the universe creates. We can look at this through the Big Bang Theory, or we can look at it through different lenses, but this thing is intelligent, and it creates from the only thing that there is, which is itself. So everything comes from itself. It has an impulse of creation, and then out of itself creates itself. And so in reality, and we know now this in just sort of understanding physics, we understand a molecular structure of our bodies, that we are the stardust, that everything that the carbon structure of who you are Everything that makes up who you are was here in the beginning, just in a different form. And now you are taking on this form. You are the stars looking back on themselves. You are the intelligence of the universe taking a particular form, not randomly, not just because, not because, hey, why not, but for a purpose. You are the intelligence of the universe taking this particular form so that the collective intelligence of the universe may know itself as you. So that it might know itself as you. Because before you, it couldn't know itself in your way. It could know itself through somebody else. It could know itself through the rest of humanity, but it couldn't know itself through you. You are a unique individualization of this infinite intelligence, and the more of us that experience and articulate our own understanding of the universe in which we're living, the more the collective intelligence of the universe gets to know itself. So we're not here to be robotic, passive followers of anything. We're not here to just go along and all of that, but we're here to wake up to our individualization of the divine intelligence that is within us, and then articulate that vision unto our life, knowing that because we are the infinite stardust of the universe looking back on itself, then everything, the way, from a principle perspective, the way the universe works is the way that we work. Right? Why? Because there's no other way. Right? We should keep it real simple, right? How could the way you work be different from the universe if everything that you are is the universe? If the universe is the only thing that there is, there's a divine intelligence in the universe. It is creating out of itself. Therefore, it made you. So how do you work? The same way it works. Through thinking, choosing, through conscious awareness. So we say that there is an automatic law that responds to the intelligence of the universe. There's an automatic law that responds to your intelligence. All of creation is a result of this inner movement. We call this the intelligence or the mind. And as we get further into the study and we go throughout this month, we'll break down even further, but I want to make one particular breakdown today of the mind. Because often we say infinite intelligence, creative intelligence, spirit, whatever word you want to use. But sometimes we reduce it down to just this thing called mind. God's mind, the intelligent mind of the universe. Your mind is connected to that mind. So let's break down mind for a minute. Mind is kind of like a metaphor if you would think of the ocean for a moment. Now, language is limiting and all metaphors are limiting, but they are helpful in a sense that they give us an insight into how things work. So at the ocean, we can say there's the surface of the ocean. And on the surface of the ocean, there's all kinds of dynamic. There are calm seas, there are turbulent seas, and there's everything in between. There is what washes up on the shore, and all of that, right? And we can't really measure the surface because the surface is constantly changing. There's constantly new experiences on the surface. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, sometimes it's in, sometimes it's out. But it's this thing that we can see and we can judge according to appearances. So there's surface of the ocean, and then there's the depth of the ocean. And the depth is deep. Right? But it's deeper than deep. It's in our experience infinitely deep. It moves into caves and for miles and into depths that we can't reach because it would crush us. And even though we're getting better with technology and all that, so we say, well, at some point there's a bottom. Okay. But for the metaphor, it's infinitely deep, right? And it goes places that we can't go and we can't quite know everything that is in the infinite depth of the ocean. And so these things are like our mind. There is a surface mind, and the surface mind is what we can see, and it's what we can judge. And sometimes it's turbulent, and sometimes it's chaotic, and sometimes it's, rough, and sometimes it's calm, and sometimes it's beautiful, and sometimes it's sunny, and it's in between all of the time, right? And there's your experience of the mind, and so there's one surface mind. And you can say, it's beautiful today. The sky is clear. The waves are coming in gently. There are birds squawking. And it's just a wonder. The sand is warm. And somebody else can be somewhere else also looking at the surface and saying it's stormy and the waves are crashing and it's scary. And if I get caught out there, it will suck me in. And same day, Different place, different experience, same mind. So we participate in the surface mind, intelligence of the universe. There's your experience and my experience, but it's all one experience. You following me? And then there's the depth. And the depth of the subconscious mind that brings forward all of the collective thoughts of race consciousness, which simply means the collective consciousness of humanity, all the thoughts that have ever been thought, and all the thoughts that are yet to be thought, come from this infinite depth. And those things sometimes come to the surface and sometimes don't. So the question is, where does the surface begin and end, and where does the depth begin and end? Is it an inch? Is it a foot? Is it a fathom, which is a measurement of water? Where does the surface stop and the depth begin? Well, we can't really know. There's no way, because it's all connected. So it's one mind appearing as two, right? It's one intelligence appearing as two. There's your surface experience, and then there's the subconscious. Where does one begin and the other end? We don't really know, but we can understand the relationship between them, and we can investigate, and we can open ourselves up to. And so as we get further into the series, we'll break those down even further. But what we do know, or what we assume we know, because there is a lot of sort of assuming we know in New Thought, is that this intelligence is what we would call good or harmonious. Ernest Holmes says the first law of the universe is the law of harmony, or the law of order. Why would we say that? Why would the first law of the universe be harmony and order? And he says, well, if it were not otherwise, then the universe would have destroyed itself by now. Right? If there were anything other than the unfoldment of a pattern of perfection that was at cause of play, first cause play in the universe, then it would have destroyed itself by now. But because we're still here and because we can still see the patterns of perfection within our universe, we know that there must be something good at the heart of it. You and I are to lean into that good, to trust that good, to see how it is working in our lives. When we see that we live in a spiritual universe and we work with that reality rather than against it, then we begin to see how interconnected we all are. Economically, culturally, environmentally. We begin to see and define that harmony that lies beneath it all, rather than expand and foment further into separation, into resistance. We begin to see that false beliefs are working in our life, and that we can identify those false beliefs and return or begin again and return to a law of harmony. So the thing itself is simply this, that consciousness is everything. Conscious intelligence in the universe, and it is everything. It doesn't say, so I'll say in classes a lot, CIE. Well, David, how do you make sense of this? How do you make sense of that? CIE, right? Which is not, consciousness is sometimes everything, which is often a preference of our conscious mind. We like to say, especially if we're students in New Thought, we like to say, oh yeah, I love that consciousness is everything. Makes so much sense, consciousness and everything. There's the divine impulse, the divine reason, the divine cause behind all that's moving in the law of mind. Except when this thing happens and I don't like it and I don't know where it came from and I'm not friendly with it and I don't want it to be here, then consciousness, hell no, it's not everything. This came from, right? It's only everything when things are going my way. Consciousness is always everything. It's all that there is. There can't be anything else. So we say, God is all there is. Love is all there is. Intelligence is all there is. Peace and wholeness is all that there is. Yeah, but what about the yeah buts? Anybody get a fit of the yeah buts? The yeah buts will get you. They're worse than the bed bugs. The yeah buts come in and start taking apart our idea that consciousness is everything. Yeah, but this, yeah, but that, yeah, but, and this thing happened, and that thing happened, and this thing can happen now, and then that thing's not fair, and One person sitting on a sunny beach, somebody else taking shelter from the storm. Same surface, different experience. Consciousness is always everything. Now, before I get ahead of myself, I'll plant this seed just to wrap that thought up. We say, wait, But how do these things happen? How do these false ideas and negative experiences and negative consequences and oppression and discrimination and all of the bad stuff that happens in the universe? And you say that everything has cause behind it because intelligence is all that there is, so everything has a cause or a reason behind it. Are you saying that this bad thing that happened to me was caused by my consciousness? No. Now, somebody's going to run out of here and find 25 quotes of Ernest Holmes that disagree with what I just said. Let me help you. God is all that there is. Intelligence, consciousness is all that there is. When you start dividing it up and saying, well, how did I create that? As if you got some new thought hammer that you're going to beat yourself up with for the bad things that are happening in your life. Well, how did I cause that? Well, let's begin with your question. Why did you start thinking yourself separate from the allness of God? There is no I. Why did I? How did I didn't create that. My life is moving good. I'm over here on the sunny beach, but those people over there, they're having that problem because their consciousness brought it to them. Well, that storm's about to visit your shores shortly because you are not separate from them. You see, we get trapped by our own language when we start thinking ourselves separate from the allness that God is. That's why we make the first principle, the first chapter, the first idea that we study in this teaching, well, that's why we make it so simple. One, God is all there is. Consciousness is everything. But what about I? What about me and what about them? And stop it. You're separating. You're not separate from anyone or anything. You have individualized experiences, and they have individualized experiences. But it is all the one trying to do what? Wake up. Trying to know itself. Trying to express itself, and trying to express itself how? Through the law of harmony. Some of us are just bullheaded about how we learn. But if God is all there is and it's trying to express itself and it's trying to express itself through the law of harmony, then we can see all of the ways in which humanity has messed that up. Not because God willed it, not because God wanted it, but because our practice and our embodiment of the teaching has fallen short. But the good news is we can always begin again. We can always begin again. And so there's only the one intelligence trying to move through in and as all things, and sometimes that just doesn't get through. It doesn't get through it didn't get through to the person who abused you. It didn't get through to the person who created war. It didn't get through to the people who are oppressing others right now on the planet. It didn't get through to the ways in which our corporations or entities are abusing the resources of the planet. It didn't get through to those who are storing up all the resources and keeping it from others. It didn't get through to all of those things that are happening, which are all on the surface. But underneath, there is still an intelligence that wants to do only one thing, and that is to express itself as all life, all creation, all humanity, all experience, and to do so with an intelligence of love and harmony and order. Surface is rocky in some places because the message didn't get through. But we can always begin again. And so we begin with ourselves, the only place where we can begin. We begin with our own revelation because we can't change anybody else. The only thing we can do is understand that God is all there is. Leaning into our faith has been especially challenging in the last few years. So much darkness that has been present through the pandemic and through war and through racial and cultural upheaval. But as New Thought individuals, as religious scientists, if we want to use that term, as New Thought practitioners, as science of mind practitioners, we recognize that these are symptoms of error thinking, and that the divine goodness remains here in the midst of all of this, despite all appearances. Ernest Holmes says, when God is all there is no duality. Duality is a symptom of our error thinking, and when we live in harmony with the allness of spirit, We are living in the unity of that truth. He further says, back of all form, there is a divine substance. Hid within every appearance, there is an adequate cause. If we judge by the appearance alone, as though it were self-created, we are mistaking the shadow for the substance. We're mistaking the shadow for the substance. In the Chinese philosophy of the Tao, they speak of the absolute principle underlying the universe, combining itself within itself the principles of yin and yang, and signifying the ways or the codes of behavior, and that harmony and natural order are the way. In the Upanishads, in the Vedic and Hindu philosophies, they refer to Brahman as the eternal conscious, indestructible, infinite, omnipresent, and spiritual core of the universe, and that it is without change. In the Quran, they speak of Allah, the inventor, the creator, the shaper, the presence alone, beholden in his holy name, that whatever is in the heaven and the earth constantly glorifies this divine intelligence. All to say this, there is a vibration of creation at the heart of the universe. It is the changeless reality of pure spirit. And that when we stay our attention on this changeless reality of our God selves, we begin to experience an inner freedom of the things that distract us, the things on the surface, from our true divine nature. And that practice alone is the practice of beginning again and anchoring ourselves in the truth that God is all that there is. When God is all there is no duality. Duality is a symptom of our error thinking. When we live in harmony with the allness of spirit, we are living in the unity that is the truth. And so we come back to our affirmation. Take a breath. Today, I commit myself to my divine destiny as a creative being. You are a creative being. You are imbued with this divine intelligence. The intelligence that brought you forth has infused itself into you as you, because you are it, and it is you. As I commit myself to to my divine destiny as a creative being, I know that every path is open before me as I commune with the first cause unto all life. The first cause unto all life is that expression of harmony, that expression of order, that spark of inspiration, the flame shot forth from the fire of love, as Ernest Holmes calls it, that brought forward you into this existence, that brought forward me into this existence, that brought forward this moment in time into this existence. Yes, complete with all of its chaos and disorder and upheaval and whatever might be happening at the surface of our lives, individually, collectively, human history in this particular time. All of which is simply the invitation to wake up, to begin again. Just invite yourself right now. Wake up and begin again. Whatever's happening on the surface of your life that you don't like, that you want to change, that you want to shift. You want more money, you want more harmony, you might want relationship, you want more peace, more wholeness, better health. You want to sleep better at night. You want more joy during the day, whatever it is. Just invite yourself in this moment. Wake up. Infinite intelligence within me, wake up. It's time to begin again. Time alone will tell me what I need to know about what has happened and hasn't happened and what I need to know and how to figure it all out. I'm not concerned with that right now. Just wake up. Just accept the invitation to begin. So you say yes to this invitation, begin to feel it in your soul. It has nothing to do with the words that I'm speaking. There's something within you that's taking over in this moment. Today I commit myself to my divine destiny as a creative being. And I know that every path is open before me as I commune with the first cause unto all life. I feel it. I sense it. I am it. And I allow it to be. Let's take a deep breath together. Let's do our affirmation together with one voice. Today, I commit myself to my divine destiny as a creative being. I know that every path is open before me as I commune with the first cause unto all life. And let it be. And so it is. Ashe, amen, amin. Namaste. Peace and blessings.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be.
Yeah, hey. Cheryl and McAfee Chandler. How beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was just absolutely beautiful. You know, you look around and you see that it may not be a full house, but I am grateful for each of you being here, and I just really hope that it has been a wonderful and fulfilling experience. We've had great music. We've had a talk. You know, I am RSVP into that invitation. I'm awake. Okay? I'm awake. So thank you all. And so now that we are awake, let us acknowledge our first-time visitors. If this is your first time at SLCA, we invite you to stand so we may welcome you. Okay. We know that we have an online presence, and so that may even be there. We're just not able to see it, and we know that they're still coming. So we'll go on to the grateful giving at this point. So please consider becoming, a regular pledger, because that even applies to us who are sitting here if you're not pledging at this point. Considering doing it, give what you can and what is on your heart today. Our gifts can be text to 404-800-9467. You may use a credit card on our website, or you can use our digital program with the QR code displayed on the screen. If you wish to give by cash or check, our ushers will be coming through the aisles shortly to receive your contribution. So as you hold your pledge card or gift to your heart, please join me in affirming and saying our grateful giving affirmation, rather. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. Thank you.
Connect, grow, serve, and give. Living life where you belong. Connect, grow, serve, and give. Loving everyone. You belong. Connect, grow, serve, and give. Living life where you belong. Connect, grow, serve, and give. Loving everyone. You belong.
Hello, I'm Mally Lapete, and my pronouns are she and her, and I gladly serve on the creative arts team here at SLCA. And you are all woke authors, new age authors, that's it. We are so happy that you chose to begin your year with SLCA. We have so many great opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give at our center right here. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, scan the QR code found on the back of the seat in front of you or the one shown on your monitor. You may also visit our information wall in the lobby out there, full of stuff, all good things. We'd like to thank, and this is where I pause, and we'd like to thank our loyal pledgers and each of you that give faithfully to SLCA. Thank you all so much. Connect with an afternoon of jazz at SLCA. We're thrilled for you to join us yet another amazing lineup with some of Atlanta's finest jazz musicians. Thanks to a generous grant, this event is free to everyone and will take place on January 15th from 1 to 3 p.m. Cool. Did you know that we have a new opportunity to grow on newthoughtheducation.com? Jen Moore will begin her 3-part class titled Practical and Spiritual Tools for Uprooting Racism on January 12th. If you aren't available to join the class live, you can always join with our on-demand option at your convenience. please register at newthoughtheducation.com. Sign up today on Breeze for a one-day intention-setting workshop with SLCA practitioner Letitia Dickerson on January 21st, beginning at 9:30 a.m. here at the center. That's a Saturday. This workshop is filled with activities and strategies that will prepare you for an amazing year. We all want that. Our Science of Mind gathering is back on Wednesday, starting January 25th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Zoom. Join Reverend Avon Drummond as she discusses science of mind principles and their relevances to our lives today. Sign up on Breeze for the Zoom link. Are you ready for an incredibly special SLCA service on Sunday, January 22nd at a different time and location? You do not want to miss this service. I will be there. We will begin at 3 p.m. at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta on 2650 North Druid Hills Road. It's not far from here. It'll be the same amazing SLCA Sunday experience that you are used to, just at a different time and location. We have so many special things planned for that day. So join us. We will not have morning service on January 22nd. Plan to stay afterwards for dinner in the social hall for fun and fellowship. Our staff and board will be participating in a chili cook-off, and each of you will be the judge on SLCA's best chili.
All right.
Yeah. Please sign up on Breeze if you would like a special text reminder that day, because it's going to be in the afternoon. Hey, you can sleep in. Yeah. How can you serve at SLCA? Well, we're currently looking for those wishing to serve on our Sunday welcome team, those wishing to assist with weekly cleaning of the center, and Maddie's hospitality table. If any of that interests you, or you're looking for other ways to serve, please contact us after the service or during the week. During the month of January, we discounted our SLCA shirts to 25% off. They're right back there. Did you know that we have both short and long sleeve shirts? Pick up an extra shirt for you or buy one for a friend while they are on sale. Would all practitioners please make yourselves known in person and in the online chat now to be recognized? Hello. Thank you. We welcome each of you in need of prayer to remain in the room or reach out to a practitioner online for one-on-one prayer with a licensed practitioner. In-person practitioners will be sitting on either side of the sanctuary after the service today. Thank you for joining us this morning. You belong.
Yes, you do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I invite you to all join me as we sing our closing song. Let there be peace on